look. Oh, this looks like there's something that's not on my face. Okay, sorry. I thought I had something on my face and it was actually something on my phone. So yesterday, my family came over. It wasn't meant to be a big gathering. It was a small gathering, just, to commune with family. So, my mom and dad, or stepdad rather, and my husband had his mom and his nephew. Actually, his brother and sister came over too, but they wound up leaving early. But anyway, he had a small gathering. My daughter was hanging out with a friend of hers, and they came back to the house. And I was listening. She was introducing family. She's like, there goes my grandma, my grandpa, my nana. So she's looking at basically a whole other generation, introducing a whole other generation to her friend. And while I was at home, I did not play. Now, they were playing cards. And it was interesting because while watching my family play cards and the pure dysfunction I had hee hawing all yesterday, they were playing spades. And for those of you who don't know, many black families like to play spades. My family actually, um, they they don't know too many people nowadays, but they would also play bid whist. We didn't play whist yesterday, but after watching my family give me many laughs yesterday, it was just a hot mess because my family and Dave's family, my husband, so they always argue over the cards, but it's in good fun. Everybody talks a lot of smack, and I was thinking about how it's really great to have family and your children see family, right? Even though my kids are like, hey, Nana, hey, Grandma, hey, Grandpa, and then they go do their thing. They went outside and played basketball. At one point, some of the neighborhood kids came over because there's some other people over at one of my neighbor's house, and they were outside playing basketball. Good time was had by all, but there's always a but. I think about how all of these whacked out weirdos get on these podcasts and they talk about how we need to, I guess in essence, they're talking about reconstituting the black family. I'm like, y'all are so full of shit. They're so full of it. They are on so many levels. Number one, people don't even like each other. We're going to start with that. There's so much pointing at the fingers of the gender war. And don't get me wrong, there is a time when that sort of thing should be done, believe it or not. But I never hear people talk about the solutions that they're going to bring to the table. What I hear is how much I don't like black men and I don't like black women. That's what I hear. I hear people talking about getting passports, and I'm like, you sound so stupid because on so many levels, it's such a deep conversation, but I feel like this is not the conversation to have. This is not the time to have that conversation because I'm probably going to sound like a snob like I usually do. Um, People are talking about getting passports, people are talking about polygamy, and all this other stuff. And I'm like cracking up. I'm like, number one, you are in no position to really be a true polygamist, even if you wanted to, because you can't even take care of the one family that you do have. Number two, I'm getting my numbers all out of order. Number 557, you know, when all these people are getting out here on these whacked out weirdo podcasts talking about, yeah, I'm all about the black family. I'm like, you are so stupid. No, you're not. What have you done collectively in the community to secure the black family? Have you volunteered to coach a sports team? Because we got to be honest, black kids tend to like to play sports. Have you volunteered to coach a sports team? What are we doing to ensure that these children have access to other camps that are not sports related? Are we creating jobs in the community? Now, let me tell you something. I know a lot of people are going to probably point the finger at me, and I guess, I don't know. Everybody has right. I remember when I lived in the community I lived in, it was a black community, and I don't know if I would call it definitely middle class. I, as I mentioned in my live yesterday or my video yesterday, there was a period of time when I was going to try to put my oldest, in public schools. That lasted about 5.7 nanoseconds because the schools weren't good. The parents aren't even involved. The parents are walking around driving these cars and putting some nice shoes on their feet, and their kids were as dumb as a bottle of rocks. My kid went right back to private school. All of my kids did. We talk about, oh, we want to recreate this family, and we can't even have basic respect for each other. I don't believe these, especially the men, sitting there talking about recreating the family. I'm like, your conversation starts off with these bees and hoes. You don't even like women. You'll procreate with them, but you don't like women. You don't like them as human beings. You don't. The women are so disillusioned that they're at the point, and I understand why. They're like, I won't even have children with you. I don't think you're worthy. And when you have two sides who can't hear each other, you're at a stalemate. You have one side that will get upset with another because they're like, I'm going to just focus on taking care of myself and bettering myself. I don't believe any people out here really are serious talking about, putting together the black family. I don't. I don't believe it. I think all you guys are full of it. I don't. I don't see anybody doing anything that even leads to that. Half of you are trying to breed the blackness out of you. You are. You don't like yourself. Now, if anyone wants to question my thoughts and beliefs on interracial mixing, I'll give it to you. I actually don't have a problem with it. I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with it. I think there's some caveats that go with it, right? I'm like, well, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you fell in love with the person and the person, just is really rocking for you and all these great things, and you guys are in line with what God has for you and stuff like that? I say go for it. I happen to be married to a black man. I was never opposed. Well, let me rephrase that. When I was younger, I was approached by many of non-black men, and I just did not want to deal with the cultural differences. But I don't see anything wrong with it, right? I think you should keep your options open. However, I think many people do it because they don't like who they are, who they're culturally, I think physically, all kinds of things. And so they do it for reasons that are not even healthy. Now, getting back to the black family, I don't believe people are serious about this whole black family thing. Because I don't see anyone doing anything meaningful. I don't see any presence in these black neighborhoods. I don't see anyone doing anything in these black neighborhoods meaningful. Now, of course, there's an edge case and there's always an exception to the rule. So you don't need to say, hey, I have a cousin who did, okay, your cousin, your whole cousin. But collectively, no. And I'm going to say from a community standpoint, we're more concerned about, I got to get mine. And I'm okay with that to an extent, but I'm like, well, what about everybody else around you? You know, if everybody around you is healthy, from a financial standpoint, a physical standpoint, a well-being standpoint, it makes the whole community healthy. It's easier for you to remain healthy. It's easier for you to remain healthy when everybody else is healthy. But when everyone around you is not healthy, it puts you in danger. Because at the end of the day, I think about in terms of science, everything wants to equalize. There's so much I want to get into, and I try not to make these too heavy, but this constant talk about, like, we gotta do this for the black family. I'm like, I don't think people care about the black family. Everything the people who are out here talking are full of it. They're full of crap. They don't even like, especially the men. The men don't even like the women. They don't even like the women. They don't care about the men. You got these boys out here popping each other off. They're not talking to these boys. These boys have no self-love. They have nothing. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They'll go out there and take other people out. It's horrible. So anyway, yesterday I had an opportunity to spend some time with my crazy family. They had me hollering because they were so loud and arguing over every book, and I couldn't stop laughing. People were reneging because they knew they couldn't make their bed. So I'm like, oh my gosh. People were underbidding, and it was such a good time. And I guess because I come from a generation where, families were still families. But now, this new generation of kids, I don't think they know what that's like anymore. They don't know what that's like when families get together and argue over cards. They're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You know you reneged. Now, let me see that book. That book right there. Oh, now see, you tried to. I see how you're dealing. I see how you're dealing. You need to watch him. You need to watch him. They were throwing down yesterday. These kids nowadays, they don't know what that's like to get together with their families. They don't really have units. They don't have units at all. They have these disjointed families all over the place. No one likes each other. Um, the men are definitely looking to procreate with non-black people, and so now when they come into the culture. There's no real anything, right? It is, and so like I said, it's like I don't really have a problem with it. But what I'm saying is, when you see it happen so much now, it's not the black family. It's not. It's the family, and now it's like no one does those things anymore. I don't know. This whole we gotta bring back the black family. These people are so full of it. I think these young black men need to first start getting that love from other black men. They do. They need to get that love from other black men, and we got to get them to the point where they don't start taking each other out anymore. They're taking each other out, and they don't even care. Like, there's no sense of sorrow. There's no sense of melancholy or remorse, regret, any of that. There's none of that. We don't. These boys don't care about anybody or anything. They don't care about protecting the women. They surely don't, because they don't even love themselves on so many levels. They don't care how they dress. They don't care who they take out. They don't care who they meet with. They don't care who they harm. How can we possibly talk about reconstituting a black family? You have a group of individuals who are practicing learned helplessness. They just don't care. And they don't feel like they have any hope. So they don't want to do anything meaningful. I'm just saying, you know. This whole we got to do this with the black family. I'm like, these people are just talking. Is get out here on these podcasts and just start talking. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? You guys want to lead? Show us what the leadership looks like. Lead it. Be the leader. They're full of it. It's lies. I don't believe half of anything anybody says. And then people get on these podcasts, they start yapping, and you got all the dinglings that are out there. They're like, yeah. They just talk. I'm like, well, what are you doing? What is the solution? What is the solution? Real solution. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. There's no real reconstituting of the black family. Look, we got black people who don't even want to be black. They want no parts of being black. Anyway, the new generation of children, I just feel, are not going to have that same feeling that I had yesterday, laughing at my crazy family, because it was dysfunction at its best. I've never seen so much fighting over a deck of cards. And they were like, how come you won't play? I'm like, because I don't feel like getting into it. I don't feel like arguing with people. I just want to watch y'all argue. These kids aren't going to know what that feels like. They probably, in another generation, won't even know how to play cards. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Those are my both thoughts. Let me know what yours are. I know I'm not changing my opinion because, hey, I can see with my own two eyes. I can see with my own eyes. I see what's happening out here. Anyway, let me get off of here. Have a good one.